G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. In last week's episode we talked about the 57 and what we had planned for it, and the idea was that we were just going to give this body a bit of a quick sanding and a nice easy paint job. Yeah, well, that's just not going to happen. Alright guys, so welcome back to the channel, and back here with our beloved orange Jaffa 57, we've uncovered a few nasty sins. So X was here working away on the quarter panel, and we sort of figured we'd just just rub it back and seal it with epoxy and we'd be good to go and give it a nice paint job. But as X was working on it and sanding into it, he started noticing that a lot of the old Bondo was kind of cheesy, and the last thing you want underneath your nice paint job is some old cheesy looking Bondo. And so he dug into it a bit more, because just down here in this part here we noticed that the actual panel bulged out. So he started digging into it and removed all the Bondo. Underneath found a fair amount of surface rust. And not only that, the whole panel is it's all distorted, it's all just out of whack. And I mean, I'll guess, I wouldn't have a clue, but I'm figuring whoever did work on it, they probably went to town with an oxy torch and probably welded in their patches with oxy, because there's just huge distortions everywhere. And it's just, well, in a nutshell, I started figuring it's not worth fixing, because not only that, but whatever we've found here is bad enough, but there's all sorts of stuff going on in the back here. There's accident damage and whatnot. So I sort of figured maybe it's worth just throwing some extra money into it, getting new panels for it. And yeah, like I said, I thought about it over the weekend, and that's what I decided to do. So this morning I went over to Muscle Car Parts in Moorebank and picked up a whole bunch of new panels. So we've got new quarters, we've got new doors, we got new trunk, floor pan, we got mini tubs. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we're going to mini tub it. I guess you could say now it's going to be a pro touring machine. So that's the way we're going to go. But it's kind of cool, because these things now you can actually buy the trunk floor pan has actually been specially made for the mini tubs. And the mini tubs themselves, I've got them here, we'll just have a quick look. So that's the mini tubs. Now they're not huge, but I think once they're on, it allows you to fit, say, a tyre up to 300 wide or something like that. Whereas at the moment, I think the only thing that we can fit is maybe 265 is the biggest, or 25, I'm not sure. But whatever's on it's probably the biggest. And yeah, I've got some things planned for the chassis and what have you, but we'll sort of let you know what those plans are a little bit further down the track. But in the meantime, yeah, we're just going to start cutting into it. We're going to do the boot floor first, and then fit the mini tubs, and then once all that's done and all that internal parts tied up, then X is going to go to work on the quarter panels. So anyway, stick around, hope you enjoy the video. I'm going to start on this mini tub job by removing this floor, and I'll see if my useless plasma cutter is in a good mood today.
Like pillows and pavement, like
So I got a little sidetracked. I started to get fascinated with these swage lines and how they had been filled with body filler. Oh man, this guy's going crazy with his grinder. How inconsiderate. Cleaned up the driver's side and that looks alright. Come to the passenger side, go ahead and knocking it out with a chisel, and I found something very interesting. I mean, this guy's faith in body filler it's commendable, I've got to say. You have a close look, there's a little bit of tape there, and a little bit of tape came off with the body filler. He had that hole plugged up just beautifully. And she stayed that way for 30 years. Let's pull that off. Yeah, another hole. So I don't know why. It actually looks almost like it's a hole that's been blown with oxy or something, because it's got like really dull edges. Doesn't really look like rust, but anyway, it's a hole and it's going to get filled with steel. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. So this body filler was basically sitting like this, and it didn't even really have any decent amount of paint over it. It had like a slight mist, but yeah, so it's just put straight on bare metal and basically left, you know, in its porous form, and yet the steel underneath is not bad. I mean, bits of surface rust, especially around where those holes were. But yeah, anyway, I just thought it was interesting. Not sure why you would want to fill those, because I think they look fine, but anyway, yeah, so we'll just carry on. And there's about 10 kilos of bog just laying on the floor here. It was good that I could get it out with a chisel, because I didn't want to go grinding it and just filling the workshop with dust, so yeah. So X has done a good job getting all those bracing panels out of there, and I've been cleaning up all the edges and removed the back of the floor trunk pan, boot pan, you know what I'm saying, the basically the car floor at the back, and there's some beautiful looking work here. A little bit of spotty weld, little touch of body filler. It's looking awesome. It's just looking great. And then, you know, to highlight it with that orange paint, just about perfection really. So definitely going to need a little bit of attention here, but all I'm trying to do at the moment is just get this thing all prepped and opened up so that we can try fitting the new floor pan. So I had a bit of a measure of it today, and between the wheel arches, well, between these standard wheel arches, the new floor pan would end up in this particular area being about 145 more narrow, which is like 70 something, I don't know, I don't have a calculator, but you know, 72 and a half extra on your tub. So it gives you an extra 3 inches. So it's not a lot, but you know, it's better than nothing. So I'm going to call it a day, and we'll come back and we'll catch you first thing in the morning. Alright guys, I said I was going to jump back on the Chevy the next day, but as it turns out, it's the next week. I got kind of caught up with my new Jimmy, and just been having some fun with him and playing around. Got him registered and yeah, just mucking around with him, and just really enjoying the old boy. He's it's just great to have something old and cool to jump in and run around and pick up parts in and what have you. And for those of you that are wondering, this is actually a 56 GMC pickup with a 57 Chev front end. So I sort of went back through some of the paperwork when Darcy bought it, the previous owner bought it in the States. I went back and I had a look at the original ad on eBay, I think it was, and it did mention that it had a facelift with a 57 front end, so that's why it looks the way it does. Anyway, just dragging myself away from him, we'll come back to the Chevy. So where we left off, I had basically gutted the complete boot area or trunk, whichever country you're watching from, and yeah, got myself fairly much ready. When I say ready, depending on which step you want to take next. I was actually thinking about putting the new floor in just to sort of like gauge it, just to see how it looks. So I might see if it's possible to do it on my own, and we'll just see how we go. If I can just get it sitting up in there and get it clamped, then we can just sort of like have a bit of a gander. So what we've got is just going to have to match it up around the side there. That's nothing. That's it's really the old panel. It's a bit knocked out of shape. We'll just pull that in, and the floor itself is sitting at the right height. And if you have a look there, that's the gap that we've got either side, and that's how much the tubs are going to be coming in. So I measured it up the top there, just where it bends over, and it's about 80 mil, between 75 and 80 mil, we'll say. Just double check. Just under 80, so say about 78, and this side's, yeah, we'll just say it's about the same. Yeah, so I guess that's in old world terms, that's just over 3 inches wider tubs, which is cool. It means we can fit extra wider tyres on it. So I haven't put this pan is not staying in here. I was purely just doing it just out of curiosity. I just wanted to see how it looked and give me a better idea of, you know, exactly how much I'm going to be cutting the old tubs back. And yeah, so now I've sort of got a pretty good idea. So next thing is take the floor out. I'm going to have to disconnect these boot hinges where they attach to the old tubs, and yeah, just start cutting the old tubs out and then matching the new ones in. So pretty good. So anyway guys, I think I might just finish the video there because it's probably long enough. I don't want to make it too long, and yeah, I can then just figure out what I'm going to do, and we'll come back. We'll make a part 2 of fitting these tubs and floor pan into the 57 Chevy. So hope you stuck it out and enjoyed watching. And please, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. I know a lot of you guys watch the videos, aren't necessarily subscribed, and that's everyone's choice. But if you like what we're doing here and you want to see more of it, then obviously if you can subscribe and hit the notifications button, you'll obviously be alerted every time we come up with something new. So please consider that, subscribing and like, share, and all the rest of it. So anyway, until next time, thanks very much for watching.